today we are talking goal setting because I've been talking to a lot of people who are setting goals, but they're setting very vague goals. And let me tell you, I used to really suck at setting goals. I was not good at it. And I'm not saying I'm an expert at it now, but I definitely look for very particular things and I spend some time like really mapping it out, understanding what I need to get done. You know what I'm saying? I love working in 90-day increments. I know a lot of people who map out like their next 12 months, their next 5 years. And it's interesting because I was listening to Gary Vee the other day, and he talked about, someone had asked in his book, do you map out your next 5 years? What do you do? How far out do you go with your goal setting? And it was his answer was interesting as always, is that it's really hard to map out the next 5 years when you just don't know where the world's going to be in the next 5 years, where technology is going to be, like how we're gonna evolve and adapt, and things are gonna change so much. Now, let's just get you into action, get some results. If you want some results in the next 90 days, stay here. Let's tune in and figure it out. And I just did this the other day. I mapped out because I didn't really sit down. Shame on me. I really didn't sit down when I started my my weight loss journey and all of that. I just kind of got into action, which is good to do, but at some point you got to sit down and really get behind your goal and say, okay, what is it I'm looking to accomplish? How am I going to do it? Life gets in the way all the time of different things, so you got to make sure you're mapping things out, that you're setting aside the right amount of time, and that you're getting things done. So I'm going to give you guys an example of the goal that I set, so that way it helps you see it and have an example of the things that I'm going to be going through with you. This is just how I set my goals. So the very first thing is, it's important to understand, and this is where most people miss the mark, okay? It's important to understand that your goal needs to be specific, measured, and have a timestamp on it, okay? It's really important that you set aside a specific period of time to say in the next 90 days, in the next 30 days, in the next 12 months, however long out you want to do this. It's really important that you set a time period for it. And you have to also, this is another big thing that people miss, is they'll say, I want to hit the diamond purple rank, or I want to hit the, the rank of the queen bee of my company. So the thing is, and I'm like, great, well, what does it take to do that? I ask my coaching clients, I'm like, cool, what does it take to do that? Well, I think, I don't know. Like, they don't know. It's really, and it's not picking on anybody, but it's very normal that people just don't know. They don't go that far. They just know they want to hit this rank, but you have to know what it takes. Okay, I always say, if you don't tell Google where you're going, Google will not get you there. If you don't know the address, you can't type it into Google. It's not going to get you where you're looking to go, okay? So if you don't know the actual numbers or the actual thing that you need to do to go out there and hit your goal, it is not going to happen, because you're just doing this aimless action, or you're not necessarily taking the right action. Like, all kinds of craziness can happen. So you have to have specific, measured, and timed goals. What I did was, I said from May 15th to August 15th, my goal is to lose 25 pounds, okay? That is my goal. It's where I need to be. I already set a date, so I set a time. I set the actual goal. You need to know what your goal is. And then I also have to measure this in some way. So always start with the end in mind. That is the very first thing you need to do, is start with your goal. It's the end. Like, focus on the end result. What do you want to accomplish? You have to start there, because we are going to reverse engineer the actions that you need to take to hit that goal, okay? So if I want to lose 25 pounds, that is my goal, okay? We're going to do like a what, when, how, why, okay? Hope you're taking notes, by the way. What, when, how, why. The 4 little factors to what I do for goal setting. Once you know your goal, you can reverse engineer, right? So I want to lose 25 pounds. That's what. That's the what. What is my goal? The when is when do you plan on hitting your goal. So I already said I want to hit it by August 15th. That is the date that I'm going for. And guys, remember, think big. Yes, be be aggressive with your goals and push yourself. Don't make them so astronomical, and I'll show you a way to figure out how you know if you're like setting it too small or too big. Am I setting a big enough goal, or is this just not big enough? Do I need to is it too big? Like, a lot of times it can be confusing. Like, how do I know if this is the right amount? Like, should I really do it? When do you plan on accomplishing the goal? The next is the how. How are you going to do it? How are you going to take the action to make it happen? Okay, so my how is I commit 4 days a week to going to the gym for an hour. I'm on a healthy, amazing 4-step system, and I've actually created a a private Facebook community as an accountability group. I did that for me, okay? If you ever want something to take place, if you ever need something to help you be successful and it's not available to you, just create it, okay? I know I needed accountability, so I created an accountability group to help me stay in check. And I know many other people who need that accountability. We have over 300 people in this community, all on the same system, using the same products, dropping weight, having amazing success because we're all working together. So if you need something to create something, don't be afraid to create it and just go for it, okay? So accountability with goals is really an awesome thing to do. So you can create any type of accountability group that you want. So the what is your goal, the when is when are you going to accomplish it, the how is what are you willing to commit to during this next 90 days to hit your goal. So I've committed to 4 times a week at the gym for an hour a day, and I really suggest that you get specific on this if you can. Anytime you can set a set schedule, it'll be easier for you to commit to it. So for me, I know Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturdays are the days I'm going to the gym, and I'm going to be going in the mornings. I'm already setting, if you can set the time and have it be a consistent time all the time, then you're less likely to miss taking the action, okay? You're less likely to slack. You're less likely to fall off the bandwagon because you are creating a set schedule for yourself. So I really encourage you to do that. Think about with your goal, how often can I work on this? How often can I take action? How many hours do I need in my day to make this work? Is this doable? Is it doable with everything else I have going on? Is this goal going to be achievable just with the amount of time I need to put towards it? Okay, that's really, really important. And the last thing is your why. You need to know why you are doing this. Why? Everything you do has to have a bigger purpose behind it, okay? I mean, obviously, I want to lose weight. I want to be healthy. I want to get my energy back. I need to just fix up my lifestyle, You cannot build your dream business feeling like crap, okay? So it's become a very big piece of what I talk about is health, because I went through such a horrible experience, and even though it was only a week, it only took me a week to know I didn't want to feel like that ever again. So I had this really big why, this really big vision with getting my health on track and showing people that you don't need to be a victim to your circumstances, showing people that you can rise above whatever life throws at you. Any crappy curveballs, any crappy hands that are dealt to you, you can overcome it. So that was one of my big whys, was to really just prove to myself that I am in control of my body, I'm in control of my health. I'm not going to fall victim and just be a statistic. So, you can journal that stuff out, whatever is easiest for you. I don't have like a specific formula for that, but it took me, you have to just make the decision that you want to achieve the goal. And that's something I really understand, especially when it comes to nutrition, because if you're not mentally prepared for whatever goal you set, you're not going to hit it. Like, you're just not going to hit it. You have to be mentally prepared for whatever goal that you are setting, whether it's ranking up in your company, whether it's getting 200 people to attend a webinar that you're hosting. I don't care what the goal is. You have to be mentally prepared for the work. You have to be mentally prepared for the action you need to take. You have to have your schedule set to where you can commit the time to doing it. It's really, really important. The next thing that, so far, you know, I set my goal, I set the time, I set what I was willing to commit to doing to make it all happen, and then I figured out why I really want to do this. What was the deeper meaning behind that? So now that I've done that, I asked myself, okay, what do I need to make a list. With any goal that you have, I'm a green personality, so this is just me. If you're a green personality, drop 3 below. I'm analytical, I like to plan. I don't plan to plan, but I like to have a plan, and I think it's important that you have some sort of strategy in place for whatever goal you want to set. So I asked myself, what am I truly going to need in place to be successful with this? Okay. I made a little, it was actually a very short list. I didn't need much. Now, maybe for you, you're looking to grow your list by 1,000 subscribers. Maybe you're looking to start blogging. But the main thing is you're going to need to make a list of the things that you need to put in place. If you're looking to blog, you need a domain name. You need to see who's going to host it. You need to figure out what blogging platform you want to use to start blogging. You need to figure out what theme you want to use. You need to figure out how you're going to customize it. You need to figure out who's going to create it. There's like all these details and to-dos that need to happen before you can even get into the blogging. Okay. Same thing with email marketing. You're going to need an autoresponder. You're going to, I have a domain name that takes people directly to my newsletter to subscribe. You can do that. meetjenjohnson.info, by the way. There's all, like, if you have to start making that to-do list of what do you need in place, like, is there tools, resources, books you need to read? Maybe you need to brush up and learn the skill set. If you're wanting to run Facebook ads, maybe you need to learn how to do that before actually running them. So you need to set aside time to go through some training or a webinar or buy a course, whatever it is. So you need to make a list of all the things that you need to get done in order to accomplish this goal. And this is just for one goal. This is why it's important that you don't set 20 goals, because there is a lot that needs to go into really crushing out a goal. I discovered that I need a Fitbit, okay? I need to start walking and tracking my steps. I want to have that in place. It's something that, it will make me more conscious of making sure I am taking breaks and walking and all that kind of stuff. The other thing is I needed a reminder. Okay, I am horrible at remembering to do certain things. And so figuring out the things that hold you back is really important. And figuring out the things that you've created that are bad habits is really important, so you can start creating a new habit. Because it's not consistency you need to focus on, it's creating the habit. The habit, if you create it, you will be consistent with it, okay? So it's all about focusing on creating good habits, eliminating bad ones. So I'm really bad at remembering to drink water. So I decided, okay, I literally need, there has to be a water tracker on my phone, right? So I downloaded an app. It's a water tracker, awesome. And it reminds me, drink your water. Oh yes, okay, let me go grab my water, okay? I also am going to purchase, I have a bunch of different, bottles and stuff that I can drink out of, but I wanted to have one that has like the little lines with all the measuring on it. And inside of that, there's like in the center, like you can add fruit to infuse it. I'm like, oh, that's fancy, right? Make it, because I think water is boring. I like iced tea. So if I want to drink water, I'm going to infuse it with something so I can actually make this work, okay? And then I needed to grab an extra product from my system. I didn't have it because it was on back order because everybody loves it. So it should be shipping here soon. So I needed that because that is actually going to expedite. It's basically like a waist trainer in a bottle. It's going to really help expedite my results. And then I needed to have a meal plan. Like, what am I going to eat? Let's really think about this. Let's pick out a few meals. Let's not make it complicated. Let's do the easy thing, but let's make it healthy, sensible, common sense stuff, right? So I figured out my calories of what I need to be doing every single day. So I'm giving you this as an example, but you need to make a list of all the things that you need to do, the things that you need, the resources, whatever you need to pick up, books, training, courses, building your website, whatever the thing is. Make a list of the things you need to actually make this work, like make the goal happen. The other thing you need to do is, because you're creating good habits, you need to focus on, okay, let me write down all the good habits I want to create to make this happen. And then you need to create a little list of all the things you need to eliminate to make this happen. I know we all want to be the jack of all trades, but then we end up being the master of none, and then it becomes like, discouraging because you're not getting anywhere. What are some things you need to eliminate to hit your goal? It could be that you're watching way too much training. You need to eliminate doing that, okay? Because if you're finding that, you're coming up short on time, then you need to eliminate things that aren't contributing to this goal. So for me, what were some things that I needed to cut out? Well, first of all, fried food, sugar, anything that's, unhealthy, basically. I needed to eliminate that from my diet. Other things, I guess, I had a hard time figuring out when I was going to go to the gym. That was like an excuse I was making because I always have my kids with me and trying to figure out, the schedule with them. And so I just figured, okay, I'm getting up early. I'm going before, while my husband takes the kids to school on certain days, I'll take them on other days. So we're tag teaming this bad boy so I can actually get myself to the gym. You have to think, all right, what are the bad habits that I'm eliminating and what are the good habits I'm replacing it with? And I don't care if you need to set a timer. I don't care if you need to put post-it notes on your forehead to make you remember. I don't care if you have, like for me, a part of my system that I use, my weight loss system that I'm using to create this new healthy lifestyle is I take 3 pills in the morning. And so to remember to do that, I know the place that I typically tend to go right to in the morning is the kitchen. So I put them out where I can see them. I make it to where it's like, don't forget. You need to set reminders. You need to set little cues, whatever it is. Just make sure you're doing what you need to do so that you don't slip up. And then over time, it's going to become second nature for you to create all of these habits and become consistent with them. Then you're going to get results. You're going to be so happy because you actually figured out your goal. As far as like reverse engineering, let's kind of take this from a standpoint of building a business network. Let's go with network marketing. I'm sure all of us are a part of that. So if you want to be super diamond, quadruple, whatever rank in your company, you need to know how much volume do you need, how many people do you need to have join you in your business. Now, most companies, you need to do both. In my company, you don't. You can do one or the other, which is phenomenal. So I just need to figure out, for example, do I want to focus on customer acquisition? Do I want to focus on building? Do I want to focus on both? But most companies, you do need to focus on building a customer base and also bringing in distributors or team members, right? So you need to know what the rank requirements are. Once you know the rank requirements, is say you want to bring in 10 team members and 10 customers. Okay, so you need, what is your closing ratio? You need to know, like, out of 10 people that I talk to, how many do I typically close? Let's just say you're horrible, worst case scenario. You're not a good closer. You're not a good prospector. You're not good at selling products. Let's just say you are at like you're in the 1% section of this equation, okay? If you need to bring in 10 of each, that means you need to talk to 200 people about this. You're going to have to actually increase your numbers so that way 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10, whatever your closing ratio is, you will actually be able to close people. Okay, I did this with a client earlier today, and she said she needed 8 team members and 16 customers. I think that's what her equation was. I'm like, okay, so let's just say that's like comes to 240 people that you need to talk to. That's if you're in like the 1%. I gave a little bit and said, let's just say you're in the 2%. Let's average, you need to probably make a list of 120 to 150 people that you need to talk to about your business over the next 90 days. Okay, so what happened was when we did the math on that, it came out to like her talking to 2 people a day. Because when you take the overall 90-day goal of how many people you need to talk to in 90 days and divide that by 90 days, it came out to like 1.6. So it was like not even 2 people that she needed to talk to a day. So that's when I was like, how many people do you talk to? Like, you probably already talk to more than 2 people a day, right? She's like, yeah. Okay, well, then that's when you know, like, okay, my goal's not big enough because I blow past talking to 2 people in a day, right? So that's when you know, if you do that's why you need to have specific measured goals. So that way you can take the numbers and reverse engineer it. So that way you can figure out, is my goal big enough? Am I talking to enough? Like, do I already talk to this many people? Yes and yes. Okay. So we ended up revamping. I'm like, you can hit a completely, I think we figured out she can talk to 900 people in the next 90 days because she talks to 10 people a day. She made the commitment. That was her how. She's making the commitment to talk to 10 people a day. Okay. So in 90 days, 900 people, okay, that's 10 people a day that she is going to expose her business to. Even if she sucks, even if you suck and you are horrible at recruiting and prospecting and bringing in sales and all that kind of stuff, if you close 1%, you have 90 new people as customers or business builders on your team. 90 in 90 days. Like, even if you're horrible. Let's say you're not, though. Let's say that you bring in 2 to 3 people out of every 10 people you talk to. It's going to totally change the face of your business. Not only would that bring in 90 people on her team, that's not including all the people they're going to bring in. Like, do you understand the power of 90 days? If you just know exactly what the numbers are so you can just do a little math, it's literally like division, so you can use a calculator if you need to. Multiplying and dividing, you're multiplying like how many people you need to talk to and then dividing it by the amount of time that you've set. So it's really, really simple, but it's so powerful and it's so important to know so you know what you need to do on a daily basis. Like, before that, she didn't even know how many people she needed to talk to. Now she knows, okay, if I just talk to 10 people a day, and even if like only one of them is interested, I'm going to hit my goal. Even if I only get one person interested in being a customer or on my team, I'm going to hit my goal. That's how you reverse engineer your goal. I really, really hope this helps you out. If you have any questions, definitely, as always, reach out to me. You can shoot me a message. You can also hop on my newsletter at meetjenjohnson.info because I always share out the replays, webinar invitations, all kinds of fun stuff and extra tips and bonuses over there. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will talk to you later.